Right, hello everyone. This is Coral Consciously with another Consciously interview. And this time I'm interviewing someone internationally known. His name is Livingston Brown. On his bio, it says he's a multi-genre. He's a songwriter. He's a producer and an engineer. And from what I understand, he's now trying his hand at being an artist. So we've got a lot to talk about. So hello, Livingston.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Miss Consciously? Okay. So just before we started the interview, I mentioned your accent. So we're going to go right back to the beginning. I know you're very young, but we're going to...
Oh, you can come to the party. You can come to the party, definitely.
We're gonna go right back to your origins and find out about Livingston Brown. So take it away, please.
Yeah, I was born in Doncaster.
Okay.
Jamaican parents, Windrush parents, and raised in Nottingham. And kind of travelled all around since then. London, Milton Keynes, and now out in Surrey. But also lived in LA and New York, so my accent's all messed up.
Yeah, you've got the accent's still there though. That's because a lot of people who've travelled there, it's very hard to detect their accent, but yours is still there. Is that a conscious effort, or you just never thought about it?
I don't think about it much, but when I go up to see Mum and the family, and I got a big family, they're like, "Oh, well, listen to him. He sounds all posh."
Yeah.
So they'll tell you that I've lost my accent, but it's just an amalgamation of a few things.
It is true, yeah. I mean, when I'm with my family, or when I'm back in East London, the Cockney starts to come out, because East London's Cockney. So yeah, I understand. So you
I
say
think it's funny. So you say that you're in the house that you were raised in. Yes,
it's my mum's house.
So cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody who's moved around so much. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm in the house. It's brings back a lot of memories, a lot of family memories here. So yeah.
But rooting and kind of like a foundation.
Yeah, and it sort of brings that familiar comfort as well. Yeah. So like you, I come from a big family. My family, it was a family of 8. So. 8 children, 4 girls, 4 boys. So how many children in yours?
10 of us. 4
all right,
boys, 6.
Okay now. Whoa.
Yeah, they kept going.
They kept going.
It was great. But never, I wanted to have a big family myself, but the work that they must have put in, I didn't realise.
Yeah. Because I've got 2 boys, and I don't know how my mum did it, to be honest. I don't know.
I've got 1 girl. And after that, it was like, I love you, but I can't do anymore.
No.
It's great. It's
yeah. So
those guys put into.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's that generation. No, I was going to say. So was it a musical family? Is your family musical?
Everybody loved music, and so every day was singing and dancing, and then we got a few instruments, and some of my brothers would play, and they're all equally talented. But, I just had nothing else to do. Some of my brothers were good footballers, some of my girls were too pretty, some of my sisters were too pretty for, and I had nothing else to do, so I locked myself away and kind of, really got into playing instruments, playing bass, mate.
The bass. You started with the bass? What instrument did you start with?
Yeah.
The bass.
Well, actually, I started with the recorder. I was in Texas, and a guy came up to me and said, "Do you remember that you had your recorder stolen when you were 8?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, I stole it off you because you were so good. And my mother bought you a wooden one." And I thought, I do remember the wooden recorder, and I don't know how I had it, because nobody could afford a wooden one. We all had plastic ones.
Yeah.
And it was his mother who bought it because he, kind of bagging off. Recorder's my first instrument, and then I went on to piano. I played trombone in the Nottingham Orchestra in East Midlands.
So
and and then I went on to playing guitar and then bass. Yeah.
So you could say you had a natural aptitude for it, for music. You seem to know quite a lot.
I think everybody has. I really do. If you can dance and you can, if you love music to listen to, then you can play it. I really do. I think everybody's. I'm sure you can. You just haven't found your song.
No, that's true. Maybe I can dance, and I like music, but I don't know about music, playing something. No.
I'm convinced you had the wrong teacher with the wrong song.
Probably.
We've got to sort that one out.
Probably. So you.
Yeah, no, I was obsessed. I'll be honest with you. I was really obsessed, and throughout my teenage years, while other people were running around and doing other different things, I had nothing else to do. And they're playing, and one thing goes back.
So, all right. So you were in Yorkshire, then Nottingham. So, what happened? Did you go to London? How did you get further into music? Was it a full-time thing?
Yeah. So I while I was at college and uni, I was in a band that would just do gigs around the country at 16, 17, 18. And we were up in Sheffield one weekend when George Michael's band came to a bingo hall while we were playing.
Wow.
and they invited us to come to the show, and I became friends with the drummer and bass player.
Yeah.
And they got me the scene in London, the session scene. So we went from doing bingo halls in Sheffield at 17 to doing sessions and playing on records at 18.
Wow. So were you with the group? Were you with the band? Is that what you're saying? And then you became...
It was a function band doing covers and chart stuff, and then I went from being a session musician
to doing things for yourself.
Well, no, it was being a session musician, so I would play on everybody else's records, and so I was working with people like Trevor Hall, and playing on all sorts from Tina Turner records, Brian Ferry records, Adam Minogue records. So I would play usually bass, but sometimes keyboard, sometimes guitar.
So you must have been in demand then, if you were, because you're multi-talented with the musical equipment. Sorry, so you must have been in demand.
Yeah, it was great times in the 80s because it was like an explosion of music. Do you remember? You won't. I don't know whether you're old enough to remember, but there was so much black music.
I'm old enough. Yeah.
And it was a good time, and even the rock guys, they were looking for a bit of flavour, And so it was a good time in music, and there was a more viable financial model as well. So it was great. I was really big, running from studio to studio, always finding something to do. So it was great.
So what would you describe as your major break? What happened? The major break that propelled you further.
Wow, that's a really difficult one because it really isn't. I don't think it's really been one thing. I mean, I decided the touring thing looked as though it was getting harder and harder. During the late 80s, I got into producing. And then I got into developing artists. And my major break was I stumbled on 2 or 3 artists that went on to be successful working with them in early days. I worked with Desiree.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember Desiree.
And I went from there to a girl called Katie Jackson, who's an American deal we did, and then a girl called Donna Raleigh, who he's a very well-known artist now, still more as an influencer than record, what do you call it? But I got into working with young artists, and the record companies recognised that actually, you know, I was a good partner for the new artists that they'd signed to just get them focused and moving in the right direction and sort of thing. It was, I mean, you know, there are acts like Maxi and Robin working with those guys were highlights. You know, 30 years ago, I met both those guys. Sorry, I'm joking.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, working with Max back in the day, because I remember hearing his records and thinking, well, what a voice.
Yeah.
Oh, what a voice. And, you know, advice to any producers in the industry looking to make a way is work with somebody with a great voice. You know, everything else is, working with Maxi was a highlight. Working for first time, there's a few artists that I'm rubbish with names, but there wasn't really
I saw a video of you and Maxi in Gibraltar. I saw that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and you were with him when he was doing his interview, and you know, you added your 2 pence worth. So, yeah, you do know him from way back. Yeah, definitely. And then
we I think the first time we worked was 92 or 93.
Wow.
And we've been working a lot since, you know, and, you know, there's not a week goes by.
Well.
One or the other.
Yeah. So
Max is my brother. You're part of mine.
Oh, I saw also a video of you with Errol Reed. Is it China Black?
Oh,
Errol
wow.
Reed? Yeah.
Errol,
I saw that one as well.
Errol called me and I said, Errol, I'm going to call you interview. And he says, what, with the police?
Really?
Yeah. It's always full of jokes, isn't it? Do you know Errol?
Yes, I do. Do
you know him?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's always got a joke.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And so we're still very much in contact, and he's good people.
He's got a fantastic voice as well. He's got a fantastic
outrageous. I mean, technically one of the most range.
Yeah.
You know, his range is just, you know,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
And just such a positive. Whenever he steps into the room, he brings a bit of sunshine with him, and good things
that's
happen.
So nice.
He's just such a good fun.
That's a nice thing to say about somebody.
It's because we like to rib each other, so yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. That in the interview when you were talking with him, there was definitely a lot of joking. I saw that. Yeah. In the video.
Yeah.
I saw you and him joking. Sorry?
I've forgotten I don't know what interview that was.
It was Errol Reed and Livingston Brown. That's what it's on YouTube. It's a few years back.
Oh wow! I'll check that out. I'll check it out.
Yeah. I'll send it to Alex.
To do with Bermuda?
I'm not sure. It was just
okay. Cool.
You were just talking about music. Yeah, just talking about music.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what would you say is your highlight of in all that you've done? I know you said that your highlight. Have you got any highlights in music? Outstanding moments.
Oh, I mean, they're going to sound really odd to you, but I remember when I was 9 years old, looking at the television, watching Top of the Pops, and thinking, that is a goal. I need to be on Top of the Pops. I really wanted to be on Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And it was really quite funny, because then I got a call from Adamant saying, and I'd played on his record saying, hey, we got Top of the Pops. And you do it. I'll be honest with you, it's not really my kind of music.
Yeah.
It isn't what I imagined, but to my 9-year-old self, it was a big deal, because that was of my pops and one thing the other. The next time I was on with a guy called Suggsy. You know Suggsy from Madness?
Yes, I know. Yeah. And
that was a real funny one, because he was at number 6. with a song we'd done called Celia. And Chris Eubanks, who couldn't pronounce his S's, was hosting the show. It was...
I can imagine.
It was a fun day. I mean, even the lead up to it, everybody was talking about how's he going to say Suggsy at number 6 with Cecilia. You know, but it was great fun.
Oh, that's good. So I didn't expect. I was going to say I didn't expect those highlights, but it just shows you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
how
not
varied
for
it
me.
is.
Yeah, for me, you know, sometimes like you know, I remember playing Tel Aviv football stadium with 60,000 people, and I was singing, and I remember thinking, you know, this is ridiculous. You know, I can't even say the words of Dyson. You know, so you play some big gigs, but I don't think they're the moments that it's the moments that lead up to those things happening. That you know. Amazing. And so highlights for me speaking to you.
Oh, stop it.
I'm serious. I'm not even joking. I'm not really an artist. I've always been the glue behind the scenes. And so I don't do
I understand.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
but you've got so much history though. You've got so much musical history, you know?
Yeah, that's all I do. You know, I haven't done anything else, and been doing it for quite a while.
Yeah. But, so, Max, going on to now your singing, because that was mentioned that now you're coming out as an artist. You're coming out from behind the scenes, and now you're in front with Maxi Priest, no less. How did that come about? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you disappeared for a little bit there.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hear you.
Yeah. So now, how did it come
you disappeared
about?
For just 5 seconds.
Thank God for editing. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So how did?
Yeah. I did a tour in 1990 called the Night of the Guitars, where there were 10 famous guitarists.
Yeah.
And I played bass for all of them. And we went on tour. We went to Brazil, we went to the States, Europe, and one from the other. And one of the guitarists on that tour was Robin Trower.
Robin Trower,
and he just blew me away. You know, I'd worked with a lot of guitarists at that stage, but he was just something else. And we really got on. And he was... so he asked me to come to Toronto with him to the States. And by the way, Livingston, I'm singing because I really like your voice. Now at that stage, I'd done backing vocals, but I'd never been a lead. And I'm like, are you sure? And I really got into it, and I sang with Robin. We toured the States, did 12 years of that, and it'd be mad. I would be on a show when I'd look in the front row and you'd see Lenny Kravitz and Eric Clapton. Yeah. You know, because he was a guitarist, you know what I mean? Very well respected within the scene. And, you know, a lot of people won't know his name. He can, you know, most people over here wouldn't know who he is, but in guitar world, he's seen as like one of the top guys.
Yeah.
I stopped touring with him because the production thing had just taken over. But I carried on producing his records.
Yeah.
And one day when I was doing one of his records, Maxi came in to do a dub plate, but Maxi turned up early and he went on a bit late, and they met for the first time.
Oh.
Now, I'll be honest with you, I'd never introduced them. I'd kind of kept them separate because both of them in the creative environment are very much their own people.
Yeah.
In one lane, you know, they're you know, forces of nature creatively, and you know there's not time for a lot of ancillary one thing, and so I kept them apart. But they met this day by accident, and straight away it was like they just really got on. They really got on. And I wasn't expecting it because, like I say, they're two different worlds. You know, Max is coming from a reggae.
Yeah, that's right.
Robin's. Remember Procol Harum, Whiter Shade of Pale?
No, probably not. No.
Sandy Shaw? No, you're definitely not old enough for these. No. Robin's been around since Day Dot. in the rock and blues scene.
Okay.
I did not expect them to get on, but they straight away they were like, "Oh man, we got to do a record together."
Yes.
And I'm like, this will not end well. But they got in the studio. We got in the studio, and we ended up writing these songs, and they just flew. And I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Maxie was, Robin say so, then that's fine with me. I'll change it. And Robin was, well, if Maxie thinks so, I'll change it to whatever. And I'm like, are you guys okay?
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it was really, really joyous to see, because like I said, I'd worked with both for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And from thinking they wouldn't get on, it was like, you guys need to get a room or something. There's too much trouble here.
A bromance. Yeah. Yeah.
But we've made what started as one record turned into an album. And then we were looking to tour it. But with scheduling and different things happened, it got delayed, and then with the lockdown, let's put it and let the people hear and tell us what they think.
Yeah. Well, it sounds different.
It's
so
very
how would you describe it? Can you put it in a genre, do you think? Is it a new genre?
I guess it would fall under soul in some people's eyes, or blues, but it's really not what either of them do. That's what's really interesting.
Right.
It's not even really a line of what either of them do. It's another place, which I found quite interesting, and we tried purposely not to fit into any genre, just make music that came out. And so, it is very different. And I think because of that, it's super organic. We decided, the one thing we did decide is that synths or computers making the music. Everything you hear is a real instrument and a real person
I like
playing.
that. I like live music. Yeah.
And so I got to get out my manuscript and score strings and score.
Oh wow! Okay.
The whole thing, and that I think gives the record a real warmth and a real depth that I think would end a style and a fashion. Yeah.
That's good. So, have you got a favourite song on the album?
It's difficult because it might not be the best song, and it might be the most commercial, but Walking Wounded.
Talking Wounds.
Walking Wounded.
Walking Wounded. Okay, interesting. So
I think it's the third or fourth track. If you've got the you'll have only heard.
Not the whole album. No, not yet. No.
I'll send it to you. Don't tell anybody.
Okay. Okay.
Walking Wounded is just a magic vocal performance and guitar performance. And it's got from a technical point of view, it's got a really strange chord in it that when we were writing, I was thinking it might be a little bit too outside. But because of Max's voice and musicality, and Robin's, kind of, you've noticed this chord is strange. They make it beautiful, unusual. So that to me was quite a feat, and like my personal.
Okay.
Music point of view, it really was a very.
So that's great. So
it's a challenge, and we overcame.
You have a. Sorry, there's a bit of delayed reaction.
Yeah. No.
What did you say? Sorry, what's the last thing you said?
Oh, that it was a real feat to overcome, but it was beautifully kind of overcome, if you like. Yeah,
because I've watched Maxie Priest in one of the interviews about United State of Mind, and he sounds very proud of it, and you sound very proud of the project as well. So it seems like it's something great. Yeah,
it's not easy to do nowadays to completely organic album. You know, you can
Yeah.
sit down and do a song in a day or two using a
Yeah.
computer, and for most people that would be fine. You know, this was literally every violin had to have their part written out, every trombone, saxophone, you know, the tenor sax, the alto sax, the tone sax. We had flute, we had harp parts written out on it, we had percussion parts,
Wow.
and it was all done live in a big studio as well. So
Brilliant.
and so it was like real old school approach.
Yeah,
to
that's what I was thinking. Old school. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really good. I can't wait to hear it. Seriously, sounds good. Very good. So, are you going to do any more projects together? Do you think?
Yeah. I Robin's already said he'd like to do more, and I know I've spoken to Max. You know, if we can get this one off the ground, I think the idea would be not only to do more, but to tour with it as well. Because
that would be something.
I've done a few shows with Max playing, but mostly out with Max, I'm actually doing sound out front.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I know Max is just, you know, energy on stage, isn't he? He comes out. You must have seen him.
Yeah.
And it'd be really interesting to, and then with Robin, he has such a fan base that every year come out to see him, and just know every word and know every guitar, you know, thing. So it'd be really interesting to see, you know, how these worlds, you know, where these worlds could meet, and fund and
So what about you as an individual? Do you think you're gonna, now that you're doing your artist, now you're an artist as well, do you think you're gonna do anything more by yourself?
Well, yeah, because I've worked with a lot of, you know, different artists, you know, Corinne Bailey Ray to Sonorelli to my brain, Shakira to blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'd like to, and you know, we're all friends, and you know, I like to foster good relationships and everything. Pull something together around some of my, you know, artists that I've worked with. But this is such a transition for me because I don't do Instagram, I don't do, you know, Twitter.
Zoom.
And I'm having to, I've got to think about haircut. I need some new glasses. I need
exactly.
Do I need more chains? No. Chains,
the leather jacket. The leather jacket.
You know, exactly. Oh, you could be my stylist. Actually, I didn't even think about a leather jacket. I mention it. I'm gonna have to get on Amazon straight away.
I'm telling you.
It's a whole different world, a whole different way of me looking at things, and it's one of the interesting things as well is the way the music industry's changed.
Yes.
It's hard for producers to just, you know, I've got a few guys who I always work with, and they pay me, and you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
But increasingly, you know, with new acts, you're not really selling records. You're not making money from records. You make the records is almost like a marketing tool.
Yes.
The sales point now can be the show, it can be the merchandise, it can be the branding opportunities and all those things.
Yes.
Without being yourself, you're missing out on all that revenue.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm reluctantly, I've looked at it. I say reluctantly, I think lazily, a part of it's, you know, laziness that I never really want. And I have so much respect for people like Robin and Maxie. I don't think people realize what it takes to be an artist. And the energy you have to put into it. You know, to put yourself forward like that and look after that. It's a lot of work. Even yourself, you know, doing what you're doing. There's a lot of energy that goes into it that people won't see.
They'll just see it.
You know, here I am at this award, and here I am. And they don't realize the work that goes behind.
They don't understand,
before your content, before, you know,
that's right.
There's a whole load of stuff that you
there's a lot of preparation. It's the behind the scenes they don't see, you know.
Absolutely.
To get to this point. Yeah, you're right. But I've really enjoyed. I could talk to you for a long time, actually. I've enjoyed Yeah, because there's a lot of history there and a lot to find out, I think.
I am sure our paths cross more than this. I mean, I know you put up something for Bubblers, and Bubblers is a good.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh,
so you really have seen? You've seen my name, yes. Bubblers. Yeah.
What? Are there somebody on your site that you put up? Who's a really good friend of mine, and I was really surprised that you even. Who was it now? My brain's gone. In the last few days.
In the last few days?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Our paths have crossed a few times.
Okay, yeah, because Bubblers, I've worked with him as a producer. Him as a producer, I've worked with, yeah. So it was his birthday, so I made a big show of it, you know. So yeah. But yeah. I think we need to have another interview. I think there's more that I need to get out of you. So,
fantastic.
because there's so much, you know, and there are other artists, younger, next generation coming up who need, as you say, need to understand what it is to be an artist.
Yeah.
And what's out there, and you know, the dedication and the work it takes. I think a lot of our generation, we need to talk to them about that, and one of the things is interviewing, you know, learning about. Go on. Sorry. You go.
I do actually work with quite a few young artists, getting them to, you know, recognize legally what they're doing, recognize business-wise. So many people, you know, our culture is music, and we forget about the other side of those things.
That's right. Yeah.
I've been working with a young girl called Summer Bantam, and she's novel up actually. Been producing and co-writing all of her stuff, and she's getting Radio 101 Extra, and she's out there kind of doing, and guiding her, and it's just a joy when you see the fruits of your, you know, kind of effort, and somebody kind of take it on and do that, and a few of them, you know.
I could see you doing a series, a tutorial of from start to the stage. See, from start to the stage.
Start to the stage. See, I can see you managing me, putting this together.
I might talk to you more about that, from start to the stage. Yeah, I like that idea. But
really, let's catch up again.
Yes, please.
Speaking to you.
Yeah.
And let's keep the link, and let's keep talking. Yeah, and honestly, the idea, I love it. I love putting back. You know, I've been quite lucky, and I've been able to make a career out of what I do. And I love to help, and I learn as well. I learn a lot.
I like learning.
So, any ideas on that, please?
Okay, I'll hold you to that. But in the meantime, it's been lovely talking to you. One of those strange times when I feel like I've known you already, but it's nice. It's in a nice way. So I will keep you posted, and we'll hope to speak again. Definitely.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
5 a.m. in the morning, rave was getting me down. Had to stop the world from spinning round.